Imagine an ambitious young guy working his way through school. He spots a successful-looking professional at a cafe and asks for career advice. Instead of mentorship, he gets completely shut down. The older man snaps at him, claiming the younger generation is inherently lazy, full of excuses, and expects success handed to them on a silver platter. But the reality is entirely different. Young people today are juggling tuition and exhausting shifts in an economy that is infinitely more complex than it was decades ago. Treating that ambition with disdain and pushing rigid, outdated advice doesn't guide the next generation. It actively dismantles their efforts. For the first 10 years of your life, you're a kid playing. Then you're dropped into a classroom for a decade of rigid memorization. Schools prioritize testing you on Pythagoras' theorem and Shakespeare while skipping practical financial literacy entirely. So you hit your 20s with zero preparation for the real world, only to scroll social media and see teenagers driving Lamborghinis they claim they bought overnight. Between the bitter older generation and the flashy internet gurus, you are left with two broken models. To actually build wealth, you need a completely new operational manual. Jumping straight into starting a business is the equivalent of swinging a blunt axe at a massive tree. You'll exhaust yourself and get nowhere. Sharpening your axe means ignoring the urge to build a company immediately. Instead, dedicate your time to mastering one or two high-income skills. Skills like software development, high-ticket sales, and video editing can scale to $10,000 a month because market demand outweighs the supply. The cash is secondary. These skills act as a currency that forces you into rooms with highly successful people, granting you access to closed networks and information others pay thousands for. Building this foundation acts as a permanent insurance policy. Even if a self-made millionaire drops to a zero balance, they have the exact tools required to rapidly rebuild their wealth. Once you have cash, the absolute worst thing you can do is constantly mess with it. Moving it around, trading daily, and trying to time the market is like overhandling a stack of dry cookies. It just erodes away. Contrast that with Warren Buffett, who generated 99% of his net worth after his 50th birthday, entirely through the passive power of compound interest. To achieve that, you must lock your cash away in robust assets, like low-cost index funds, specifically to protect the money from your own emotional tampering. This chart shows how consistent daily deposits grow. By automatically investing just $5 a day, that micro-investment curves upward over 40 years to cross $1.5 million. The math works because broad index funds historically return an average of nearly 11% annually. That steady growth drastically outperforms erratic individual stock picking. Earning $1 million once could come down to luck or timing. Keeping it and forcing it to multiply through automated investments is how you build a lasting legacy. Social friction is the primary barrier holding most young people back. They prioritize avoiding the judgment that follows failure over the actual financial risk. Being young provides an asymmetric advantage called time leverage. Having decades ahead of you naturally neutralizes the impact of any single failure. Older investors are forced to park their money in low-yield, stable assets like bonds and gold, because if a market crash wipes them out, they literally lack the time to recover. A young person has the mandate to take massive, calculated risks. A long time horizon guarantees you can rebuild from a zero balance if things go wrong. Early career failures function as low-stakes, mandatory experiments. You have to endure these testing phases to eventually locate a viable path to success. This chart maps the Dunning-Kruger effect, showing how confidence often peaks when actual knowledge is at its lowest. Many get stuck on Mount Stupid because they assume wealth is a product of luck, dismissing it as a science they could actually learn. This stagnation is a byproduct of the standard Western education timeline. We are conditioned to believe that structured learning is a finite phase that terminates after university. To stay competitive, you have to treat your brain like a computer and install continuous software updates. Staying plugged into new markets allows you to spot lucrative opportunities years before older generations. In an economy progressing this rapidly, refusing to absorb new information is the equivalent of letting your brain catch a virus and slowly degrade. If your goal is to be the first in your family to break the poverty cycle, success heavily depends on the specific types of friends you integrate into your daily life. This chart shows data from a 2024 National Bureau of Economic Research study. They found that every 10% increase in wealthy friends drives a 3% bump in stock market participation and a 5% increase in personal savings. The mechanism behind this data is simple. People who already have money can demystify complex financial systems into plain English, completely removing the friction and fear that keeps most beginners on the sidelines. You don't need to force awkward networking connections. Instead, deliberately place yourself in environments, clubs, and industries where highly successful individuals naturally congregate. The older generation will eventually step aside, leaving the entire economic engine in your hands. Success depends on ignoring the cynics, leveraging your unique time horizon, and moving from a mindset of hoarding cash to one of systematic, automated compounding.